Long before he took a fateful ride in Dallas, down Elm Street and past the Texas school book depository, John F. Kennedy foretold his own death. You see, JFK was a huge fan of James Bond. He loved the novels, but he loved the films even more, going so far as to host a private screening of the new release Dr. No at the White House. Nothing inherently weird or creepy in that, not even the slightest. However, during the final year of his presidency, JFK took to writing his own James Bond story, starring himself, his family, and the federal government. Within this story, a high-ranking government official successfully executes a coup and assassinates the president in the presence of his wife and the Secret Service. Welcome to Lucid Trigger TV, and this is the top 5 things you didn't know about JFK. And hey, look at that was number 5 right there. Might be tough to surpass, but the remaining 4 are just as interesting, I promise. Number 4. JFK didn't accept any money for his work in government. JFK was born into an exceedingly wealthy family, and at the time he eventually became president, he was the wealthiest man to have ever been elected to the office. Converting to today's dollar, this wealth was close to $1 billion. It should be noted here that JFK no longer holds the record. It was claimed by Donald Trump when he was elected in 2017, with a net worth of about $3.5 billion. Unlike Trump, however, Kennedy never took a penny from his work as president, nor did he accept money for his time in Congress. In fact, he donated all the money he made from his work in government, and he didn't tell anyone about it. He didn't use this fact for political gain or to manufacture public image. He did it because he felt it was right. Number 3. JFK paved the way for Reaganomics. JFK's lasting legacy is to be remembered as a liberal president. He pushed Congress to increase the minimum wage, to spend more on highway construction, to expand unemployment benefits, and to boost Social Security benefits so that workers could retire earlier. However, Kennedy was also quite conservative. He opposed abortion, he believed in a strong military, and supported gun rights, to the point of being a full-fledged NRA member himself. Oh.
Right there. Oh.
And he also pushed through some of the largest tax cuts ever. These tax cuts reduced the income tax burden on the wealthiest of Americans, lowering their taxable rate from 91% to 65%. A little over 20 years later, Reagan would use Kennedy's tax cuts on the wealthy as a template, as he pushed to further reduce it to 28% by 1986.
Tax cut.
Number 2. JFK is the only president to have ever received a Purple Heart. Yep, you heard it right. The only president to get a Purple Heart. And he did it for his service in the Navy fighting in the Pacific during World War II. Before joining the Navy, Kennedy attempted to enlist in the Army, but failed his physical exams due to intestinal and back issues. It was only after using his father's connections that Kennedy was admitted to the Navy and allowed to fight in the war. While there have been other presidential candidates
nominated
for the Purple Heart, Kennedy is the only one to have been elected president. Number 1. JFK dated an alleged Nazi spy that personally knew Hitler. Inga Arvad was proclaimed by Hitler to be a perfect Nordic beauty. She was Denmark's entry for the Miss World competition in 1931. Not long after, she tried her hand as a movie actress, but failed, soon turning to journalism and somehow being granted interviews with Adolf Hitler in 1935. Then, in 1936, when the Fuhrer invited her to be a guest in his private box at the Summer Olympics, rumors began to swirl that Arvad was secretly working for the Nazis. Despite these rumors, Arvad immigrates to New York by 1940 and is able to find work with American papers. Arvad soon meets Kennedy, the two begin dating, and even consider marriage. This occurs as proof surfaces that Arvad's now former husband had close ties to Nazi financiers. A secret FBI investigation is soon opened on both Arvad and future President Kennedy. This investigation sees several naval officers as regular visitors to Arvad's apartment. It appears that Arvad has made a lot of friends in high places. It appears to be the classic honey trap, and Hoover has her lines tapped. While no clear-cut proof emerges that results in Arvad's arrest, enough circumstantial evidence does, including Arvad claiming that she knew every word that Kennedy had spoken to his own father. Arvad goes so far as to suggest that a close family friend that Jack had known since birth was selling their family secrets. While this wasn't enough for Kennedy to choose to sever ties, the relationship nevertheless ended when his superiors at the Navy became aware of the suspicious activity and, fearing that Arvad was looking for naval secrets, transferred Kennedy to another part of the country. Arvad would never be arrested, but it would not be her last high-profile relationship. As the war was coming to an end, she became engaged to a British member of Parliament. This one, too, ended, and Arvad soon married an actor with whom she had 2 children and lived out the rest of her life in relative quiet, before eventually succumbing to cancer in 1973.